Dreher comes in 25-2, and Tim Hamm comes in with a 25 win and 4 loss record. Advancing with a superior decision was Dreher. He also got 2 falls, while Hamm advanced into the championship with a 9-4, a 5-2, and a 6-2 decision.
I tell you, Lonnie, the Plainville wrestlers are very distinctive in their dark black uniforms, a little white trim around the thigh. They've all been tough in this tournament, and of course the Plainville Cardinals are leading team-wise in the tournament. Joe Dreher is one of the reasons they're leading. He's in the championship round here at 145 pounds. He is a physical wrestler in every sense of the word.
And Tim Hamm of Minneapolis, one of the fine Minneapolis wrestlers, a Lion, and they came to wrestle, and they have a great environment in the practice room. It's evident the way they've wrestled here in the tournament, and it's evident also that the middleweights, especially for Minneapolis, were extremely strong this year.
You can see the strength in the upper body. Look at the quickness of Joe Dreher. He gets around behind, but he'll have to bring his opponent to the mat to score. He was unable to do it. No points. It's still 0-0, a minute and 19 to go, first period. But Joe Dreher, a quick duck hunter. He'll try that again here pretty soon. He comes in under now. He's going to try for a tip. And Tim Hamm of Plainville countered out, or rather of Minneapolis countered out. Joe Dreher of Plainville, a couple of quick moves. He tries it again, and Tim Hamm tries to counter, come around behind, but Dreher is quick enough to counter Tim Hamm of Minneapolis.
Ben, this 145-pound weight classification, if we look at the physiques of these two young men out on the mat, and Steinlage and Peters were the 3rd and 4th place finishers, this, I believe, may have been one of the toughest 145-pound weight classes you'll ever see wrestling in Kansas.
Tremendous strength, and look at Dreher manhandle Tim Hamm. He still hasn't scored the points. He'll try to keep him in bounds. We're down to 23 seconds in the first period. It's still scoreless. A couple of good moves and a couple of good defensive moves for both wrestlers.
We're not only talking about strength in this matchup, we're talking about extraordinary quickness, excellent moves, excellent counters, and for that many people to get behind and not be able to take them to the mat. Look at the balance as well. And at the buzzer, no points will exchange. The officials are going to visit about it. Now they are going to say 2. That was one of those real close moves where you'd almost need videotape instant replay to be able to view something like that.
Well, let's take a look at the tape now, and we'll see if the points were scored. I believe they were. He's in deep on the leg. Now, if Tim Hamm comes to the mat, the 2 points are scored right at that point, right at the buzzer. A good call by the officials. And 2 points for Joe Dreher as we continue here in the second period.
We're underway.
Joe Dreher of Plainville, the top wrestler. He's on the top side. And his opponent, Tim Hamm, with the stripe down the side of the uniform, up in standing position, peels off and gets one. It's an escape for Tim Hamm. It's a 2-1 count. A minute and 35 to go, second period. Dreher moves in. He has a partial bear hug. It's a front head and shoulder lock. He can try for a throw from that position. But he breaks away. It's still 2-1. Dreher of Plainville over Hamm of Minneapolis. Hamm in the uniform with the stripe down the side. Dreher working the arms. Hamm trying to block off from the arms. We're down to a minute and 2. Dreher tries to come in again, and he has the strength to stand up, even with Hamm hanging on. Tim Hamm is blocking Joe Dreher. He doesn't like the feel of all that strength and quickness that Joe Dreher of Plainville has demonstrated so far. But it's 2-1. It's an awfully close match with 39 seconds to go. Second period, rather.
Even though they're just standing there, they are really testing each other. They're using a tremendous amount of their upper body strength, gripping with all their grip when they're having a hold of a wrist or an arm. They're exerting more energy than you can even possibly tell, and resisting that energy as well. There's always constant pressure on each one of these moves. Every time you see one of them move just a little bit, that's a total exertion of all the bulk and muscle that these two athletes have to offer.
Dreher comes in. He tried for a headlock, but with time expiring here in the second period, it's a 2-1 count. Joe Dreher of Plainville has that lead. And we move into the third period. We have just a momentary timeout. I think it's a bloody lip this time. Thank goodness it isn't a bloody nose.
Well, that would be a real precedent setter, Ben. We have another great match coming up in the 155-pound weight classification.
You'll notice, Lonnie, that the coaches, they take advantage of the injury timeout to do a little coaching. And, of course, that's the only opportunity they get because basically that wrestler is out on his own.
Certainly are. And Mike Berkran of Oakley is coming up against Roger Kirkwood of Silver Lake in the 155-pound championship. And now we see the athletes taking their positions. Joe Dreher, Plainville on the bottom side. Tim Hamm of Minneapolis in the top position. And the third period is underway.
It's a quick stand-up, and Dreher tries to peel the arms off. He gets a standing reversal, has a half Nelson in deep, and Joe Dreher is trying to put Tim Hamm on his shoulders. The count is going. The referee is counting. If it gets a 5 count, it'll be 3 near-fall points. It is 3 near-fall points. So Joe Dreher has the ability to score in bursts. It is now a 7-1 count. Dreher of Plainville way out in front in this 145-pound action. Working off to the side now with the near cradle. Moves in, tries for a neck whizzer, but gives up the skate deliberately. And now the score is 7-2. Dreher, very, very explosive in his moves.
He was very explosive right after that injury timeout. And whatever happened in his corner really had him fired up when that action got underway, because not only did he come out, fire up, and get the reversal, he also got the back exposure points and took a 5-point lead in the match.
Like the official, Ron Furman, moments ago, signaled that he'd like to see more action. He realizes these kids are capable of wrestling full speed for the entire 6 minutes, and he wants to see it. The rule book calls for it.
57 seconds to go in the third period of action. And you know that Tim Hamm certainly wants the officials to make him wrestle, because Tim Hamm, trailing by 5, knows he's going to be wrestling very hard in the next 50 seconds.
Tim Hamm from Minneapolis is having great difficulty discovering an opening. Joe Dreher doesn't present much of an opening. He's awfully strong and he's awfully quick. Hamm almost put him off balance. Dreher comes in with a bear hug. He's got the bear hug hooked up, and he swung around to the side. He almost was able to score with the bear hug, and now he's around behind. But remember, you can't score takedown points until you take your opponent to the mat. As they go to the mat, Dreher scores 2 more. It's now 9-2, Lonnie, and Dreher has demonstrated his superiority in this championship match at 145 pounds with only 15 seconds to go.
His superiority at a tremendous weight classification for this 1988 championship tournament at Gross Memorial Coliseum. There's the countdown, and even elevating Tim Hamm of Minneapolis in the closing seconds. The final 9-2. The new champion of 145 pounds, replacing Stefan Hahn of Phillipsburg, is Joe Dreher of Plainville. And there's a look at the new champion.
He's relatively emotionless. I know he feels great inside. I just know that his coach, Brad Fredrickson, a former wrestler from Oberlin, Kansas, now the coach at Plainville, feels very proud of his team and this particular wrestler, Joe Dreher. He signs the bout sheet. That confirms that he is the winner, but we knew that already, Lonnie, by the score, 9-2.
And there we have a look at him signing up in the presentation of the awards. Back to the 138-pound weight classification. Accepting the 4th place medal just moments ago is John Kinnis of Greeley County Tribune. That's Brian Leopold that has just received the 3rd place medal. Brian Leopold of the Hoxie Indians. The 2nd place individual about ready to show up at the award stand is Matt Hauser of Douglas. And Matt hasn't made it yet. There's Matt pulling up right now. And the St. Francis cheerleader making the award. And Gale Brown, with a 10-5 decision over Matt Hauser, was the champion of 138 pounds, and he receives his award. And there's the picture of the 1988 champion, 138-pound Gale Brown, representing the city of Hill City.
What a handsome champion.